Okay, so let's take a look at some writing apps here. So, say for example, I wanted to write about Du Bois. Okay, so the first step in writing a proposal, right, um, on the way to an essay is to contextualize the problem. So the problem is basically Gen Ed IH. So what is it? What is Gen Ed IH trying to do? So one way you can think about sort of what Gen Ed is, right, is to compare and contrast it with other ways of learning at the university. So there's a disciplinary modality of learning. This is your department, your major, right? That's a specialization um, type mechanism, right? And then there's professional learning, uh, business school, nursing school, which is more about experience and applied skills, right? And then you have Gen Ed, right? So, what is Gen Ed, right? So sometimes, it's good to compare and contrast different modalities uh, in order to figure out what the modality is that you're actually doing. You all take Gen Ed classes, you've taken IH, right? So you know what they are, but now you want to try to articulate what they are and try to problematize what they are. How is Gen Ed a generative enterprise? Right? So general education is generative education. That's the idea, right? So general education does have a philosophy. Okay, it is a way of learning the world. Okay, and so instead of being productive or being informational like the disciplinary education and professional education tend to be, it has more of a generative aspect. The issue is, what's generative about it? How does, what do you look at? How is IH a specific application of Gen Ed? Uh, so consider this. So what we do in IH, we read a primary text. We read a primary text in a general and a generative way, not a foundational or disciplinary way. And we do this via the seminar model. Um, so so this is basically what IH is, and reading a primary text, not a textbook, not a PowerPoint, not a lecture, right? It's there is a text. There's a primary text. There's not no text like there is in professional learning, which is more experiential and applied skills pedagogy, right? So those are things to get you to think about how to define Gen Ed and IH. Okay. Um, yeah, and I'll stop there and I'll move on to the next part.